Okay, now I'm going to do another just completely unscripted video kind of demonstrating the IPython shell. So just like we did with Python, we invoke the shell within a terminal by typing IPython. Anaconda, I believe, also has a launcher that you can launch a shell graphically. But generally what we'll want to do is we want to be in the directory where we've set up our repository. And so if we open terminal, change directory to that location, then we can type IPython. Now IPython has a number of arguments it can be run with. Some that are, I think, kind of useful are, well, we'll talk about the notebook later, but there is a ability to do log files. So if I want to keep track of everything that I do during the shell, I can pass it an argument log file. And now if I do things like import math, print math.py, print math.sine math.py divided by 4, things like that, and then I exit it. If I look in my shell, I now have a text file log1 which kept a record of all the steps that we did during our previous use of the shell, for lack of a better word. So another one is that we can use the debugger in it. And so this will be things like if I can just do some standard things. And you see I have my command line is on the in, and then following it is the output, which is hello world. But if I do something like this, okay, that'll be fine. But if I do something illegal, like dividing by 0, then it brings up the error message, and I'm actually at the code where this happened. Well, that's not a very useful example, so let's set up a variable, and we'll call it like a equals 0. And then if we do like print 5 divided by a, now I get a division by 0, and I can like examine what is my value of a. So I can print it. I can do what type is a. I can use this to explore my variable and find out why my code did something that I probably didn't expect it to do. Okay, so this has okay, I already imported math, so if we import like string, the shell has a lot of useful tools, including tab completion. So string is a module, and I access the components of the module by using the module name string followed by a dot, and then the variable names or the function name. So in this case I can type pu, and I can hit tab, and it will match any strings that match the pattern that I started with. So if I print .p and then do it, I see printable and punctuation. If I just do the dot and then a tab, I get a list of all the names, which could be functions or constants, functions or variables or subpackages, which we'll talk about later, in this package string. So if I want to find out what lower does, I can follow it by a question mark, and this will bring up the help for that name, lower. So in this case, it says that lower is a function that takes as an argument a string s and returns a new string. So it'll return a copy of the string s converted to lowercase. So if I do something like string.lower, it returns a string all in lower cases. There's like, if I use the up arrow, I can bring up previous functions. This gives me the help again. I can also get help by typing string.help as a function and then what I want to learn about as an argument. In this case, it says no documentation found. I can do system commands. So if I want to know where I am in Unix, I do pwd for print working directory. I can also change directories. I can go up a directory. I can list my files using my system commands. If I was in Windows, that command would be dir, which is an that'll be kind of funny because that is a conflict. Like I said, I apologize for not being up on all the Windows uses, but it's just a matter of for you exploring the different things that you can do. And if I want to exit, I can do Control D. Ask me if I want to exit, I say yes. And that's a basic introduction to our IPython shell.